A wonderful evening, everyone. I warmly welcome you to the second day of Upskill 2022, organized by IEEE Young Professionals Sri Lanka in collaboration with IEEE Region 10 Young Professionals. I'm Anjali Rodrigo, a member of the Let's Talk Creative Content team, and I will be your compere for today. Today, too, I hope you find yourselves prepared for a great session, both informative and fun. As a quick recap, Let's Talk, a project undertaken by IEEE Young Professionals Sri Lanka in 2017, has the goal of enhancing the knowledge of young professionals by giving talks in collaboration with prominent members of the society on timely key subjects and other skills that are required in shaping up their careers. Upskill Sri Lanka 2022 is its signature event. To kick things off, I invite one of the co-chairs of IEEE Let's Talk, Diniti Rambukvala, to welcome the gathering. Diniti, over to you.
Good evening, everyone. Today is the second day of the Upskill 2022, the signature event of the IEEE Young Professionals Sri Lanka, in collaboration with IEEE Region 10 Young Professionals. I hope that you all had a fantastic session in yesterday, but we are just getting started. We have more to go. So stay at the edge of your seats. So on behalf of Upskill 2022, I would like to welcome our panelists, Mr. Denver De Silva, Senior Vice President at Virtusa Corporation, Facilities and Sustainability, and Dr. Rasika Pereira, Senior Lecturer at Mechanical Engineering Technology, the Open University of Sri Lanka. And next, Mr. Harsha Wickramasinghe, Director General DSM at Lanka Sustainable Energy Authority. Furthermore, I warmly welcome all executive committee members of IEEE Young Professionals Sri Lanka and our delegates who are present here today at Upskill 2022 second session. It's my great pleasure and honor in welcoming you all to this wonderful evening. This is an excellent delivery on evaluating soft skills specifically for young engineers who seek potential in their commit, innovate, and inspire. And I strongly believe that this session will give a great guidance for all young industrial towards sustainability with the importance of technology on the second day of Upskill 2022. Also, I wish you all the best of luck and hope this session will be something remarkable of all of you. And I hope you guys will join with us tomorrow for the last day of Upskill, which will be happening as a physical session with immersive of workshop series. So thank you for all again, and over to you, Anjali.
Thank you, Diniti, for that warm welcome. Today's panel discussion will be about the delivery of new technology towards sustainability. Its main focus is to highlight how to apply new technologies to sustainable development in varying industrial arenas, motivating young professionals to educate themselves and to be up to date about the new normal. But first, an icebreaker. Similar to yesterday, a link will be shared in the chat. Do click on it, give yourself a name, and join in on the fun. We'll give you guys a few minutes to join. The link will be up in the chat soon. There we go. The link is in the chat, so please go ahead and click on it, give yourself a nickname, and be ready to answer some questions. Come on, you guys. The link is in the chat, so go ahead and join.
Anjali, are we expected to join that link as well?
If you, yeah, go ahead, please. It would be
Yeah,
nice.
I have a problem because I'm connected off my laptop, and with all these security measures were to put in place, some of these links it doesn't allow us.
Okay.
So, is it okay if I just remain on the same chat and don't join the link?
Yeah, that's fine. In the sense you still be on the Zoom call,
Yeah,
yeah?
yeah.
Then it's no problem.
All right, thank you.
I think we're experiencing a small technical difficulty with the screen share. Please give us, there we go. We're back on. Lovely. 21 people have joined. We'll give you like a minute more to get on, so join quick. Hmm. So we start. Coronavirus started from which city? We seem to be lagging, but if I'm not mistaken, the answer is Wuhan, China. I assume the quizzes go on since the screen share is lagging, but please do go ahead and answer the questions as they come.
නමුත් මචං මම ගොඩක් ලැග් ගේ.
Yeah, I think due to technical difficulties, we won't be able to share the questions via Zoom. But please, yeah, answer the questions while they're happening. Okay, next up. What is the name of the school in Harry Potter? Which I assume is the school he attends in this case. Yep, we're starting off easy, but don't expect all of them to be quite that.
ගයිස් පොඩි help එකක් මේ කවුරු හරි දන්නවද Zoom එකේ අර පල්ලෙන් unmute start video කියන බාහිර නැති ගන්න
So
කොහොමද?
our leaderboard has Tarinduji first, Nisira second, and N third.
නෑ
I
කියන්නේ
read it right.
දීලා
I'm proud to see that everyone got the question right.
ඒක මගේ හිතලා දෙනවා ඒ දැන් live stream එක යන්නේ ටී capture වෙන එකනේ තියෙනවා ඒක.
Who created the Linux operating system? You guys have 5 seconds left.
Hello.
Time's up. 24 people answered. And let's see how the leaderboard changed. Tarindu was still first, but Surev came in second.
Hello.
And on to the next question. In Avengers, who killed Thanos when the Avengers found him on an uninhabited planet? And let's see how the leaderboard changed. Oops, we missed that. But yes, I can see one answer is Damika Marasinghe, brave person. On to the next question. Who is the #1 richest person in India? Now that's a tricky one. Time is up. Our leaderboard, Suref comes in first, and we have a new second and third. Shan 31, and next I did not have the time to read. The answer is that dude whose name I shan't try to pronounce, lest I get it wrong. Who won the Booker Prize in 2022? Oh, this was quite recently. And time's up. The answer is The Seven Moons of Mali Almeida by Shehan Karunatilaka, if I'm not mistaken. There we go. Next question. What is the name of Donald Duck's girlfriend? Couple seconds left. And time is up. Our leaderboard has Shan 31 first, Suref moved to second, and Elon Musk in third place. Daisy Duck is the answer. Our next question. What tennis event has a strict dress code of all white? Another tricky question, but I'm sure any tennis enthusiast will guess it immediately. And time's up. Let's check out our leaderboard. Nice. Our first two places remain the same. And we have a new third place. Wimbledon is the correct answer. Next question. Which actor didn't act as Peter Parker in the recent Spider-Man movie, No Way Home? A question for the Marvel fans in the crowd. And our leaderboard continues to have Sean 31 in first place. And yes, the answer is Ganyu Reeves. On to the next question. And our final question too, so be ready to grab those final points. Fill in the blanks. Upskill Sri Lanka section is happening for the blank time here in Sri Lanka. And time is up on our final question. Let's check out the final leaderboard. Yes, Shan 31 in first place. The rest I did not quite have the time to read, but congratulations to everyone. I believe that's it, yes.
As a moderator, Mr. Gurinder Pereira is unable to attend the event, to moderate the event. So I'm going to our panel discussion is on the theme of harnessing technology to sharpen the career path. So it's basically about getting you guys, young professional, fresh graduates,
Mr. Denver has been Virtusa's OSAC representative from the inception of the Colombo OSAC chapter.
we have Mr. Harsha Vikramasinghe.
He is a chartered engineer who graduated from the Department of Mechanical Engineering at the University of Morato. He has been a corporate member of the Sri Lanka Managers Association since 2003. Currently, he is working as the Deputy Director General of Sri Lanka Sunitya Energy Authority. Then our final panelist, Dr. Rasika Pereira, a senior lecturer at the Mechanical Engineer Faculty of Engineering Technology, of Open University of Sri Lanka. So welcome you all on board. Then without further ado, let's move on to the panel discussion. So I'm going to start off with Dr. Rasika Pereira. We all know that technology can be seen in different perspectives from different people. So it depends on the person. And I still remember after I reached you, you asked me like, Pavani, do you know what technology is? So I was kind of lost on that. So Dr. Rasika Pereira, can you explain from the different from the industrial perspective, what does it really mean by technology?
Thank you very much, Pavani. And thank you very much, everybody, for the invitation. And it's a great pleasure to be with a young crowd like you. And I have been in this kind of fora previously also to share with you what I know and learn from you as well. So any participation in a forum is a learning experience for us as well. Yeah, to your question, technology is defined as the application of scientific knowledge. Industrial technology is the use of engineering and manufacturing technology to produce, make productions faster, simpler, and more efficient. So if I take an example from what we learned at school, everybody learn how to make soap. What are the ingredients need and how to add them to make soap. But if you try to make soap at home and compare the quality and the cost of soap that is made at home and in an industrial plant, you will realize that if you are to be competitive for homemade soap, you have to sell it at a higher price because you have not used the modern technology to make this soap. Same with other things. Say, for example, the LED or the LCD screen that is in front of you. From what we have learned from the science, with our science background, we can explain. What is the difference between a CRT screen and the LCD screen, how it is made, what is inside, and so on. But knowing what is inside, knowing how it is working, knowing out of what it is made, we cannot make it at home or even in Sri Lanka. The reason is you need a specific raw material, specific machinery, and technological know-how to make it. So there is this difference between science and technology. I think I made it clear. If you have any questions, we can discuss. Yes.
Just clearly explained. Yeah. Then let's move on to Mr. Harsha Vikramasinghe. So, sir, as you are engaged in the government sector, when it comes to sustainable development, how far have we come in sustainable development as a nation?
Actually, I would like to firstly thank the young professionals who are here and the other panelists for joining in, and it's a great opportunity for me to interact with you all. I think we have come a long way in sustainable development, not with the new buzzword and the new interest the world is showing on sustainable development, but we as a nation, we have been very sustainable for millennia. We have been living in this country very peacefully and in sync with the mother nature. So the unsustainable living is the new thing for us. So our basic nature is sustainability, and we have not harmed our environment very damagingly in the past. So it's a kind of a coming back, homecoming for us. So we don't have many things to learn from other places. It's in our genes, kind of. So the only problem I see, the recent phenomena like urbanization, and there are other development-driven reasons for unsustainable living in our country, especially the transport sector. So there we have to make some course corrections, and we will be fine. been very optimistic about our sustainability drive. So it's very likely that we will meet all our sustainable development goals and other goals we have in our mind without much trouble. Okay.
Yeah, actually, it's quite amazing to hear that as a nation we are going beyond sustainable development and achieving our goals as a nation. So then again, my question goes to Dr. Raska Pereira. So in Sri Lanka, like what we do mostly here in Sri Lanka is assembly, or more than apart from innovating. So why are we not into innovation apart from maintaining and rebuilding the same technical aspects? Like, are there any opportunities for innovation ideas?
Let me first clarify you what is invention and innovation. Invention is the creation of new products or processes, and they can be completely new or maybe derived from previous products. But innovation is different to invention. So innovation is where existing products or processes develop further, or new product functions can be added to a product. So what we expect from innovation is to be more efficient, low cost, and being efficient to bring the price down. So if I summarize, the innovation can be defined as change that adds value, and invention may be defined as something which is new. Now, we take a few examples why these products have not been able to sustain their market share due to lack of innovation. You will recall when we were very small, maybe when you were not small, I don't know about your age, there were cameras called Kodak. So if you Google, you will come across this lot of information. Kodak is the company developed the digital photography as well, but you don't hear this company now. Same with the Nokia phone. The reason is not being able to innovate. So I don't really agree with you why we do not innovate. If we do not innovate, we do not exist, or our products will not exist. So in my opinion, all products that we have are going through a certain innovative process. Maybe when we compare with the innovation.
Yeah. Dr. Oscar, can you hear me? I think there's a lag.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, sir. You can continue. I think there was a breakdown or something on Zoom, so you can continue.
Yeah, so there was a technical problem from my side or what?
No, I think it was a Zoom. There was a breakdown on this whole session. That's why we all faced that.
Right. So do you want me to start from the beginning or?
Yeah, you can start from the beginning. I think most of you, the people have missed the conversation. So I think it's better.
Okay, I will continue then from the beginning.
Yeah.
To your question, we started by explaining what is invention and innovation. Invention is the creation of new products or processes. And as a result of invention, we get new products or something new. And innovation is not new. Innovation is where an existing product or process or an idea is developed further. And through the innovation process, we can add new product functions or designs to the product. And as a result of the innovation, we expect to bring a better product which has better features at low prices and low cost. So if I summarize the difference between invention and innovation, it is the invention is that invention is something that brings us something new, whereas innovation can be defined as a change that adds value. Now, your question, why are we not into innovation? Innovation, apart from maintaining and rebuilding the same question or same technical aspect, in my opinion, without innovation, a product cannot be in the market for a long time. So same with what is available in Sri Lanka, what we make and the products that we consume. So I took two examples. One is the Kodak camera. So a long time ago, they were leading the camera market, and Kodak was the company introduced digital camera, digital imaging, whereas now the company is not there. And also the same with the Nokia in the mobile phone industry. So whenever you do not innovate, keep on marketing the same product and not reflecting the needs of the consumer. Sometimes the consumer might not give you the need. Sometimes, or we think always we have to get the need from the consumer. Whereas sometimes the consumer does not know exactly what they need. And then we have to come up with innovative ideas and tell them, look, we can do this with this equipment, which is the latest innovation. Then people try to realize that, yes, we have even not thought of this. This can do a lot of work. And they try to adapt that technology. So in my opinion, innovation is there always. It's an evolving process, but compared to the innovation taking place in developed countries, we might not take the innovation to that extent, but innovation is always there. That was my explanation.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think it's good to know the difference between innovation and invention. Also, some additional knowledge is added. It is great to hear. Then let's move on to the professional in the industry, Mr. Denver De Silva. So, sir, can you explain the impact of digital technologies on trade, or it can be industry or the job market? currently.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Right. So good evening, and thank you very much for having inviting me, Pavani, for this session. I know we had a lot of discussions.
Yeah.
Congratulations and well done for IEEE and your association for putting this together. I guess it's timely, and delighted to be a part of this distinguished audience and some excellent professional panelists. Honored and humbled to be here. So good evening, and thank you very much. Let me begin by saying I think technology, or what I would say tech power, is a great equalizer in the world. And this has never been seen before. If you look at the way technology is doing it, today, each and every one of these people, distinguished participants on this call, have an opportunity, equal opportunity to information, which is basically knowledge, and knowledge, information, and learning becomes a skill set that you can deploy endlessly. The possibilities are limitless. Now, why would I say so? It cuts through social, cultural, and financial barriers. There is hardly a difference in opportunities between a person in Sri Lanka, someone in New York, to a person in Australia accessing the same website and reading and learning and understanding, looking at a YouTube video. So this actually technology empowers and equips and enables us to leverage it for our own benefits and understandings. And I think the greatest revolution was the COVID time. Virtusa as a company, we went from a workforce of over 30,000 people. We went to work from home in 3 weeks, right? 3 weeks, come that year, January, February, we knew it's a long haul. 1st of March, the company made a call. By 31st March, we're done, right? And that's what it did, right? And today, I think getting back to normal or getting back to the old pre-COVID is not an option. Why?
Yeah.
Technology changed, the environment changed, opportunities changed, businesses came. And there was also a leapfrogging of trust that happened. So I think there are great opportunities for people on this call to really leverage those technologies to move forward. And it is going to be all about not if, but when is every company having to do that. And companies that were adopted, and what I say adopted as being future proofing your company. Example, the business continuity plans you have, technology enables you to do that. Risk assessments, supply chain risk, climate change risk, political risks. I mean, these are all information that you will do to understand what are the technologies you can use. Then, of course, technology enables us to solve problems. It helps us to reduce friction. So if you have, and that's how some of the greatest inventions happen, right? Where we were able to solve a problem. I mean, COVID was a great way. People went into Uber, people went into online transactions. And technology also has its own problems of cyber security, data protection, and things. That again is another industry to work on, right? We were in a panel with one of the CEOs of a top bank, and the bankers were complaining economic recession, there's no money, the people don't have money. And his answer was very simple. The people you were used to looking for having money may not have the money, but the number of dollars in the world hasn't changed. Just go look for it harder, right? It's somewhere, right? It's not lost. So I think these are the attitude and the mindset changes that we need in adopting it. Then it also helps. Currently, we see a global recession, economic crisis looming across, cost of living, energy crisis, things. So it gives us an opportunity to use automation, robotics process automation, machine learning, AI. We have, I think, ODoc and various other applications that came about in Sri Lanka. People were consulting on COVID for many other reasons. Now, leverage those learnings, leverage those things, and in a sustainable manner, because we can reuse code. The circular digital economy is in play now, right? Where we are taking substances and repurposing them. So build for the future. So to all the engineers out there, don't build for today. Don't build for the things. Look at the potential of your solution, right? It's always an enhancement. It's a transformative process. The only constant in life is change, and technology is changing much faster than we ever did that. Plus, with technology comes responsibility, and that is where the sustainable social and governance aspects comes. Respect for people, business, and human rights. uh, I think in Sri Lanka, a great example of technology being used was the fact that we had a literacy rate of 96% for 77 years and ended up in bankruptcy.
Yeah.
However, what's changed now with this digital connect and the social media accountability, that now the literate population is getting educated, is able to leverage, and the most powerful government, president and prime minister, was sent home 9th March, 9th June, 9th July. Come August, when they were trying to do a little more, people said, no, that's about enough, right? We will watch and see. So people made a conscious decision, informed decision. It was not political rhetoric. And that's what technology enables. It enables countries' economic, social, and governance structures to change. No court of law came in to change the government. No constitution came into play to change the government, right? And without a bullet being fired. That's fabulous, right? And that's the power of technology, of equating equal opportunities. I'm delighted to see breaking the bias and diversity on this call, right? That's another important thing. We have to make conscious, targeted decisions in the adaptation. Recently, we spoke to the certified management accountants. How many of them go through a reorganizing, restructuring process? Again, you need the technology to do that, right? How many of us are doing automation? I think initially when we said about payroll automation many years ago, decades ago, they said, "Oh no, the payroll clerk will lose his job. We don't do that." But today, can you ever imagine how do we harness those resources to make offshoring? Sri Lanka has the largest accounting pool. Why are we not using that? Technology enables us to connect. We have people who are into education. We have people who are into innovation. We have people into startups. So the opportunities I see of technology giving, especially in the new paradigm shift of the world, is endless and limitless. We are excited. I would say the last year has been one of my best years with Vetusa, because so many opportunities of doing things that we never thought we could do, right? The whole concept of captive, secure ODCs, not allowing the phone in, all went through the window, right? For some of the top banks in the world, right? We were having security scanning, the man can't take a phone, the whole world work from home, right? So that's what technology, but it came with responsibility. We had to invest correctly. So the ability to build for the future, making purpose driven tools, don't do it for the sake of doing it.
Mhm.
Right? And that purpose driven approach is something I think all engineers need to understand. Understand, why are you building what you're building? Who is asking you to build? Go that extra mile. And these are and your communication skills, understanding the problem, being empathetic towards the situation, will change the entire paradigm shift, because it's no longer financial requirements that are bringing you together. It is everything beyond finances. Of course, finances are important, because we don't run charitable institutions, but it's about bringing that essential link of society and governance that will keep technology in check. So I think this is a sort of a very broad based view of technology being a clear differentiator as never seen before to the world, right? We have not seen this kind of unprecedented opportunities that lies ahead. So even in an economic recession, the only way companies can survive is adopting technology,
Mhm.
right? So everyone, if you're in tech, you're in the right place, right? And I can only suggest that those who may not be savvy, learn, unlearn, relearn, reimagine what you can do. We are looking at even having people coming back to the workforce, looking at lateral people, adults in Singapore. Dr. Ho from the Singapore Institute of Technology said they are having programs for working people to reskill, upskill and reskill, right? So that's what technology is enabling. And I'm glad we are at this forum. I just gave you a very quick opportunity that it's the greatest opportunity available. We are on the right track. We just need to step on the gas here, right?
Yeah.
I hope that gives you a very quick overview of that.
Yes, sir. So as you have mentioned, there are so many new technology platforms like AI, cloud computing, and blockchain. So can you explain the involvement of new technologies such as that in the Sri Lankan industry?
Yes, so I think blockchain is a great way. Today we speak about corruption, we speak about security. I mean, if you are building those aspects of information security, cyber security, that's another complete industry to work on. There is auditing and controls that are coming into place. This is beyond just building a solution, to solve a simple problem, right? The cloud practice, the transformation progress. But I would also say, don't forget, IBM is still making mainframes, and they are used in some of the largest governments and banking systems. So, not to disregard that, but learn the cloud, AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, and also understand the efficiencies and the impact it has on the environment. Today, our customers are asking us, what is your environmental footprint, right, as a company? And I'm a part of the SLASCOM ESG forum, and we are telling the startups and the engineers and member companies, start doing business right. Sustainable companies are successful companies. Virtusa has achieved some very high ESG accolades, and was also able to double-digit improve our profitability and growth. We went from 21,000 to 35,000 people, right? That scale, right? And this is globally. There are tremendous opportunities, and it's not only for Virtusa; it's open to many others as well. And we are delighted that we could really use those technology, from AI, machine learning, no code, low code, the cloud practices. There is AWS certification platforms. So understand the skills. Let me just put it this way: you can be a chef, that's the engineer, but you need to first have a recipe, and then you go out and buy ingredients that fulfill the recipe. But sometimes we just go out, and because things are on sale, we buy a whole heap of ingredients, and now we don't have a recipe. So we spent a lot of money. We invested some valuable, our time and effort to have assets that are not going to work for us. And I call these assets as in assets of knowledge and skills and investments. So understand what you're going to solve, go out and get the technology. A senior of mine that taught me well told me, hey, Denver, what you don't know, you learn. What you can't learn, you hire. Right? And we can't learn everything in the world, right? At some point you need to, and that's what brings a team together, right? So how do we bring these technologies? And it's about solving problems and enabling people to do it. So the technology are tools. The garage man has plenty of tools. You just have to have the skills, which tool to use where, which spanner works in what direction. So I don't need to tell anyone, I believe, on this call about the technologies out there. They know it, from Python to HTML to AWS, right? But it's the attitude and the mindset they need to adopt to make use of those tools to build something great, right? And two things you need: for any startup or any company, you want investors to be attracted, you want customers to be attracted, and you want people. The greatest asset in an IT company and a tech company is its people. You have assets of anything else, right? We don't have real estate assets or something. So how do you make these assets work for you, right? And these assets have to have a purpose. It's not dictatorial missions. We always come to the team and say, how do we solve this? Think about it. So that energy to go out and learn from the market, learn. And I would also say, be competitive in your niche, not geographically. Take the geographic bias out. As I said, Virtusa is now a company that is geographic agnostic. It doesn't matter where you sit in the world, right? Technology has enabled that. Right? Solutions has enabled that. Security has enabled that. Audits have enabled that. Clients have enabled that, right? So if not, we can't do our job, right? So I think that's where my focus is about people learning to break the bias for themselves, in limiting themselves, saying, I live in Sri Lanka, therefore I know. And even the brain drain that you talk about, right? Today, that's again, it's not limited. You can do the same work you do in Australia or New York from here. And if you're looking at higher pay, that's a remuneration conversation. It's not a migration conversation, right? If you have to do a remuneration conversation, have that conversation. But are you going to dislocate your family, your children, everybody else, because it's a remuneration conversation? So understand that, right? So it's about the technology and opportunities are here. It's same as it's here as anywhere else. So that's the message I really like to leave.
Yeah, thanks for your input, sir. So as Mr. Denver explained, there are some steps to be taken to fulfill the sustainable development. So Mr. Harsha, what are the front actions that are required to meet sustainable development? So, what are the steps that you have taken as a nation, Sri Lanka?
I'm learning a lot from Mr. Denver D. Silva. Thank you for all your input. So, but I have a very controversial view on this word, the two words, sustainable development. So, in a planet with limited resources, it's finite resources. There's no two words about it. We have gone to the moon and come back. That's a different story. But our resources are limited. So we have to fully understand this. So what is sustainable is not continuous development. So sustainable development is an oxymoron. So it's two opposing words branded together. You can't sustain the development endlessly until the whole world reaches say United States level of living standards. Yeah. If we do that, one of my senior lecturers at the University of Morocco told me, if China and India alone, they attain European standards of living, we will need 2.25 planets to depend on the resources required. So we have to get this right in the very beginning. This development cannot be sustained forever. So contentment is the key. So the front action we are working on and we are teaching. And mind you, our country is a very good corporate, a global citizen in that respect. You will never believe me. Our contribution to atmospheric pollution is only 1/2000th or 1/3000th of the global thing. So there are 6 great polluters in the world, and they produce 55% or more of the planet-threatening pollution. So tiny country like ours with 20 million people in it, we just can't do anything about the global warming or anything. But that being said, we are doing whatever that is possible for us to do, but it won't make any difference. We have to understand very clearly, even if we become carbon zero today, it will attract more markets for us. We will be a better global citizen and we will win the marketplace, but we just can't stop the climate change. So that we have to understand. And the 6 great polluters are fooling each other and the rest of the world. So that is where we have to start the fight all over again. The front actions you are mentioning, we have to, this is my personal view, not my organization's view, where the fossil fuels are mined, Australia, the Saudi Arabia, we have to take it to the mine mouth, not where it is consumed. If we don't do that, there's no way we can stop climate change debacle. So that is one aspect of the sustainable development. The other one is the main one, the consumerism. So we just can't go on feeding the global population. It's now closer to 8 billion or just past 8 billion. I have lost track of it. So we just can't grow like this. And our food habits will have to change drastically. And our waste generation abilities will have to change drastically. So in that respect, there are some regional countries who are doing great in this respect. So as you know, non-perishable, non-biodegradable packaging is still used in our country. If you take a simple pack of biscuits, it's coming with a wrapper which will not decompose for 400 years or so. But I was living in Tamil Nadu for about 1 month. And one day when I went into the store, there was a massive uproar there. The police, they have entered the place and they have slit open all the plastic bags in the store, and they have thrown everything on the floor. If it is a sack of rice, the rice is all over the floor. Just to see, there was a law prohibiting this non-recyclable packaging, and the store has violated. So their law making is that tough. So the entire stock of food items was lying on the floor, and after seeing that, nobody will ever use a non-recyclable packaging. But here, the vendors are so powerful, they will somehow tweak the law and continue to pollute our tiny, beautiful country. So that way, we have to rethink. That is where my colleagues in the panel, they emphasized that is where technology and innovation will come. We have to find our better way of doing things and reducing the consumerism. So for the youngsters who are in this audience, I have to tell you, start using things for longer periods. Don't go for clothing whenever you feel like buying one. So I will show you a classic example. This is my pen. I hope you can see it. It's a Hero pen I have recently bought, but just for information, the one I used from grade 5 scholarship examination, I used it during the 2 university careers of mine in Moratuwa, and I'm a very careful user of things, one thing. So Moratuwa and Colombo both, I survived. This pen survived, and it helped me to pass these examinations. And just imagine number of ballpoint pens I would have used and thrown away. So this culture of getting clothing every month, every week. So I have my elder sisters. They had maximum of about 10 dresses in their wardrobes when they were young. Can you count? I was told by my younger colleagues at office, they can come to work without repeating their dress for 2 months without a break. So not 2 months, 60 days without a break. Everyone agreed. They have 60 different outfits in their wardrobe. So that is waste and consumerism. That is where we get things wrong. With that kind of mindset, we just can't be having sustainable development. So we have to take that into our own actions. We have to be responsible for the planet and for the future generation. We start with us, the you. It's the just the citizen is the action taker, no one else. Thank you.
So actually, it's good to know that how we contribute to consumerism without knowing, Vinyali. So apart from consumerism and everything, are there any technological platforms that are used to meet those sustainable development goals?
Yes, as Denver rightly said, they have they have gone from a packed corporate office to virtual office, or rather working from home within 30 days, if I remember right. So that is the future. So cities, in my humble opinion, is going to be an irrelevant feature in the distant future. So the people congregated to cities to do transactions. They come from all over the place. First as a caller or fair, you can see, you grow pumpkins and you bring it to the town. Someone else will bring in something else. They exchange, barter trade. Then it grew into a place where people transact with each other. If you don't need to meet in person, the reason to travel and reason to build cities and reason to live in cities will be no longer there. So I think it's a great new way of working with each other. So I am on a global consulting assignment, so I know how easy for me to work now compared to 10 years ago. So having a meeting with my Fijian counterparts is just 24 hours away from me. We just discuss and agree on a time and we have a meeting. But imagine doing that 10 years ago. I have to go in a 10-hour flight, wasting a lot of fossil fuel, my time, their time, and try to meet. So cities are going to be relevant, and I hope and pray the traveling also will be irrelevant in future. So the comfort of your home, if you can reach the whole world, that is my dream world and my heaven. Okay.
Yeah.
Pavani, if I can just jump in for a moment.
Yes, sir.
Sorry to interrupt, but I really like what Mr. Vikramasinghe mentioned, and it's exactly there. So just to add to that, because it's relevant, what we are doing is we are cleaning our supply chain, and our customers are looking at us to keep their supply chain clean. So there is an entire chain reaction of being responsible that is coming in. And ESG is about taking responsibility for your environment, social, and governance footprints. And that is driving behavioral change. For example, we had multiple service providers bringing in, things when we ran our cafeterias. They were given 1 month to say zero plastic policy. Company implemented it. Why? Because one is we believe it's right. Secondly, it gives us a competitive advantage in dealing with our customers, showing that we are positively contributing to their supply chain, which is a mandate that comes from their investors. So this chain reaction has started. Yes, there is opposition to it. Yes, there are people who are there, but the story has begun. The journey has begun, and there are great opportunities for technology to enable and reduce the friction in this transformative change that is taking place. So it is happening very, very clearly, and companies and CEOs are being held accountable with their executive pay being tied to ESG outcomes and KPIs. Never before, right? So now the responsibility is there, and they're running helter-skelter, trying to figure out how do I do this? Because the stakeholders and the investors who appoint a board of directors and the chairman say, hey, tell me these things. If you don't do it, I'll fire you and get another guy, right? So the pressure is on, and that gives tremendous opportunities. And our motto is about doing more and better with less. So I don't think any company was thinking about code recycling, reusability of source code, optimization, machine learning, AI, right? That would have otherwise wanted you to go and do a visit somewhere. No, augmented reality, virtual reality, the metaverse, all these are going to be things that will act as Mr. Vikramasinghe mentioned, that will not mandate the need to travel other than for a purpose. So the purposes are becoming very specific, and it's not no longer a general and a must do and a tick box. So just to add to that. So thank you, sir, for your comments and inputs. Just wanted to add to it. We are all on the same page.
Thanks for your opinion, sir. Then, so Dr. Rasika, Sri Lanka is living in an economic crisis right now. So, can you explain what are the technological innovations that can be it can be innovations, inventions, or any technical platforms that can be built or applied for sustainable living?
Yeah. Let me first clarify what is sustainable development. So I remember this definition because I repeat this definition at least 2-3 times per year during my lectures. Sustainable development is defined as the development that meets needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their own needs. That means the Earth's resources, as Mr. Vikramasinghe said in his explanation, we should use them in such a way that even it should fulfill the needs of the present generation, that is we, and also any other future generation that is coming in future to live in this planet. And in this aspect, there are main 3 pillars that define the sustainable development. One is the environment protection, the other is the economic development, and social development. So during it was mentioned about the blockchain, which is good for the good governance and economic development. And when it comes to a platform, I would like to explain, and I personally expect a much broader platform. So I'm not confining to any sophisticated technology or any aspect, but the platform that I expect, in line with the definition that I gave you, is based on the main actors who will drive the sustainable development. One is the science, technology, and industrial practices that will play a major role, as explained, non-biodegradable packaging, products that harm the environment, and we have to make sure that any product that we make will not harm the ecosystem, and is in line with the sustainable development. But as far as a platform is concerned, one is science technology, the other is governance. So the government will have executive powers, legislative powers, and juridical powers, the managerial powers. The government also should be able to drive the sustainable development. Now, from my definition, you will understand that sustainable development is a global phenomena, not confined to one country. As explained, being a small country, whatever we do will not affect the global scenario. So that doesn't mean that we can do anything. As many of us know, we have very old vehicles, outdated technologies. So if all entire USA will practice the same technology that we have, it will be a worse scenario. So that doesn't mean that we are doing great. We also have to improve ourselves. And also the most important is the education and the civil society. The civil society should know the actions that we take now will affect on your children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and generations to come in future. And the education system and the civil society has to take sustainable development in a serious manner. So what I believe is the platform, it can be a technological platform, but the main pillars of this platform should be the science, technology, government, and education, most importantly, the civil society.
Yeah, thanks for that explanation, sir. It is a great one, briefly explained simply. So this matter is something I'm also concerned with. So Mr. Denu de Silva, as a fresh graduate, what are the key technology areas that should be considered when you are coming to the job arena, like, and what are the, in the industry itself, what are the lacking technical skills that can be seen in young professionals? Sir,
Sorry, as I said, Virtusa has a large number of engineers across. We operate in 46 locations across 25 countries, the largest being in India. And probably we have about 15 to 16,000 engineers working out of India, and about 3,000, close to 3,000 in Sri Lanka. The advantage we have in Sri Lanka is being a smaller country, but the quality of engineers we have in Sri Lanka versus any of these countries is no less to the other. We need to be proud that I think Google Summer of Code that runs across many countries, and the top universities compete in this competition. And in the last 10 years, I believe the Morato University won it 7 or 8 times against all MIT and IITs and everyone else in the world. So our engineers, engineering quality and skills surpasses none. We are equal or better. So that's the first thing we have to applaud to everyone here. But what are we lacking, as in what is the additional piece that your question was? I think the soft skills of understanding and communication skills they need to understand. And from a technology perspective is the mindset to research and understand. You know, the very fact that they're asking what are the technologies we should learn shows inquiries, and inquisitiveness is lacking in the teams. Whereas you take some of the other engineers across the other countries, they'll say, we have these skills and we believe these skills will empower your organization to get across. This is why I should be given the job, because I want to take you to the next level. Big difference, right? Here we are more spoon-fed and told, tell me what to do, I will do it. The other way around is, I will tell you what I believe you should need to get across the line, because I'm cutting edge. I am world class. I know exactly what I'm talking to you. I'm bringing value to the company. Here is my research, right? And the students need to come with that confidence, that ability to research and identify why you are a differentiator. If you ask people, tell me how to be a differentiator, the mindset itself is wrong on that, right? But And that is the skills that we want, because none of the solutions we build has ever been done before. We have to figure it out. I'll give you a great example. 10, 12 years ago, maybe, yeah, about a decade ago, Virtusa was a very small company, new kid round the block, trying to get our heads into some of the big, we're competing against the Infosys, the Tatas, the Cognizants, the Accentures, Wipros of the world, right? Tough place to be in. They're still much bigger than us. And the challenge was, one of the banks said, we have long ATM teller queues and we want a solution. So everyone came with more ATMs, fastest processing things. And the Virtusa team sort of said, hey, hang on, guys. Everyone is going to do this. We know. How do we make it different? So our team said, can we have 2 weeks extra? And we deployed a whole bunch of people to go to the banks and stand there and find out why people are there. Right? The bank is telling us, but we just like to know why. And we found the majority of the people who were standing there was to deposit checks. Yeah. So check depositing was the cause of people turning up at the bank. So then they came ATMs, or check deposit machines, which meant you still had to commute and you had to still come there. So one of our team came up and said, why do we need to bring them to the bank? How do we stop bringing the person to deposit a check to the bank? And came up with the technology of an innovative technology of taking a photograph of your check, sending it to the bank, and the bank honors it. This was done 10, 12 years ago, right? Now, we won the deal and we did it. And it was the first time an American bank adopted that technology. So there was a lot of security and other things. But had we adopted this, tell me what you want, I will build, we would never have been where we are. Right? So when we hire engineers, we want that inquisitive curiosity and solutioning mindset. Right? Don't expect to be spoon-fed. This is the real world. In the universities, you were, maybe your professors and the lecturers were very kind to you. They told you what to do. You need to figure out what you need to do, right? And you need to start building on that. And I don't think, I would believe 90% or all of the people on this call can teach me much more about technology and what is real and out there than I can ever speak. That's the truth. But how do you take that knowledge and convert it into bringing and making solutions, right? They say ESG is going to be $1 trillion business. What are the aspects? How do we measure code quality? How do we measure these skill sets in doing it? Can we have a reusability and ESG indexing concept that you want to bring? We are talking of sustainability. How do we build a sustainability index at a individual population level, at a company level? How do we go through the entire process of reorganizing a company's efficiencies to meet the crisis in reducing costs and reducing consumerism and operating costs? Understand a problem, work out the technologies to match that. So again, I can tell you about cloud, AWS, machine learning, AI, RPA, and the whole heap of things. I can read these lists. But it's like saying, tell me, sir, what are the tools you need in a garage? You need a spanner, you need a screwdriver, but what do you do with it, right? So the whole mindset of telling me how do I use a screwdriver, where should I use a spanner, come on, right? We have to grow up from there, right? So I think that's the determination and the shift. You have to come from the university to the real world. Yeah. I didn't answer it fairly purposefully, right? And they need to question us. They need to come back and tell us, hey, these are the skill sets. What do you think of it? This is what IBM is using. This is what Infosys is using. These are the latest technologies. How do you think I could bring that? That's the interviewing conversation, right? Of course, they'll have the basics. Do you have that? That's to get yourself into the interview list. But if you want to really be there, what is your contributions and value add? Right? If you go for an interview, understand you're coming to Virtusa, you're going to IFS, you're going to any other tech company. What is the business they do? You're going to dialogue. What are the challenges they face? What are the problems they do? What is your skills that you can add to? Right? It's a far more healthier interview conversation than coming and saying, I know to read and write and I can do all these things. tell me what to do. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, thank you, sir. So I hope most of our young professionals got to know about what are the targeted arenas when it comes to the industry. So with that, Mr. Harsha, so with all the requirements of sustainable development, how does the government, the Sri Lankan government, support sustainable development in the country?
Before that, I will just like to add to what Mr. Denati Silva just told you. What we are looking in graduates is actually problem-solving skills. So I'm very saddened about the recent developments. I am old enough to distinguish between the era where students were not doing the semester system. Before the semester system, they had annual exams. They were better equipped for problem solving for some reason. I'm no educationist here, but they were far more outward thinking, and they had a lot of good problem solving skills compared to the recent entrants who are from the semester system. So that's the only distinction between the two groups, but maybe some other reasons. Spoon feeding appears to be the problem. I also realized there's a very interesting story. When we were at the uni, the batch senior to us, they had encountered a thermodynamics question where the number of variables and the number of knowns and unknowns, there was a mismatch. And one important data was missing, and they just couldn't solve the problem. So they have gone and complained to the professor, Professor P.A.D. Silva. We just can't solve this. The number of variables are far too many. Then to see that the missing element is the room temperature. So professor has blasted them. If you don't know the room temperature and you can't assume the room temperature, what is the purpose of you studying engineering? So that is the culture we should be engaged in. You pick up the pieces and forge a solution. But we used to get spoon fed by the authorities or whatever from the government. And in the industry also, getting a good approach to the question you posed to me, what the government has done and what the industry should do. There is again a serious issue. Actually, whatever the platform required, the legislation and the ratifications, global pacts we have signed, everything is in place. But it is not moving in all the sectors as we expected. So the Sustainable Development Goals are the 17 goals. Some things like the health sector, they are doing wonders, and we are on a, European or better index level in the health indices. But if you take energy, we are also running closely behind. But there are some sectors completely, they just even don't know there is a requirement like this to meet. So there are problems like that, but I'm being fair by all the previous governments in the country. I think they have done their bit, but they have very limited resources to open up these portals and this dialogue with the industry and the people of this country. For example, I think there's a famous energy drink in the country, malted milk. Their advertising budget is 675 million for television alone. So that is more than our organization's entire budget for a year. So we can't have that kind of reach even with social media to get people on board. So we have a very peculiar problem with the government. Not before, due to the crisis, but even before the crisis, if we spend that much money in reaching people, we will be in deep trouble with the Auditor General for wasting public funds. On one side, that being said, but we just don't have any other means to get to these people. So we need innovative solutions to reach the individual citizens of the country and the industries, and they have their peculiar problems. So the sustainability is the last item in the agenda. I'm referring to the small and medium enterprises. The bigger corporates, they have a nice annual report to print, and they need sustainability indices, so they are worried about that. But not so other poorer, the smaller businesses in the country. Getting them on board will have a huge difference, and that is where, as a government, I think we don't have the resources to reach the country. But I'm not. It's not a bitter complaint, but that is. I'm just telling you the truth. Okay.
So, Dr. Asi, is there anything to add? Like, what's the contribution regarding technological change when it comes to sustainable development?
Can you repeat the question again, please?
Yeah. So my question was, how does the government support sustainable development in the country? And also you can add how it contribute to the technological advancements in the country.
So government is us, is it? When we mention about the government, we think it's the those who are sitting in the parliament, and that's all, which is not. Government is us. Government is all inclusive of all the government officers, including the juridical powers vested to each organization. So there are certain legislative aspects. Say, for example, there are many organizations established under Act of Parliament. So recently I did a study. When you compare the legislative requirements in terms of science and technology, if you compare the legislative framework in Sri Lanka, it is more than what it is in India, what is in UK, what is in America, what is in Pakistan, and so on. So those are the countries that I have compared. So in my opinion, if you are talking about those who are ruling the country, they have done their part. The reason why, in my opinion, things do not happen is because of government officials. There has to be credible officers working for the government with powerful decision-making powers and logical thinking, which we lack. We always think that it is the politicians who do not do the work. Not only the politicians, it's the government officers also. So I explained you about the three pillars: the technology, education, and the government. The government is in terms of the executive powers, legislative powers, juridical powers, and so on. So it is not that the government is not taking tough powers or tough decisions. The execution of these decisions has to be done by government officials. That is us. So if we are not serious about what we are talking about, what is happening to our country, what is happening to our future generation, so you cannot expect those who are sitting in the parliament to do everything.
Yes.
So what I think is we have to take this to our hand. What is lacking to make the general public aware. Why we use polythene bags always? How many polythene bags we bring to our house? Why cannot we reduce it? Why cannot we stop buying them, which are not biodegradable? So these are the things that we have to take. So maybe there are certain aspects that the government has to do. But in my study, what I came across was the governments have done their part. Maybe the officers that they appoint to carry out these duties do not have the required capacity. So that is my opinion.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a general public's responsibility to gain sustainable development goals, as Dr. Aska said. So with that, we have, yes, sir.
Pavani, if I may just add, you were talking about responsibility. So as an industry, the IT sector /com, we've taken it upon ourselves to make these changes. And change begins within ourselves. Yes, there is a government and things, but we can drive those policy decisions. So the /coms has 4 goals, and one of its goals is to make Sri Lanka a green IT BPM destination of choice. So that's an ambitious plan. Obviously, so as a first step, we have become members of UN Global Compact as an association. Some of the members are also members there. And now the drive is to ask the entire IT infrastructure industry, how do we get to net zero with science-based targets, right? So there is a lot of technology and things that has to go in. How do you make every single telephone tower onto renewable energy? What are the options we have? How do we do it? How do we make our data centers zero emissions? And these are initiatives that will go, and obviously the government will be, have very close consultative dialogues to make these legislative things happen, which is coming from the industry. So we will leverage the government's abilities to legislate these things and bring it there. In addition, we are also, for example, with the power cuts, the number of people going off grid. So that's being sustainable, right? The UPSs, the 13-hour power cuts, to move our vehicle transportation fleet to EVs or hydrogen vehicles or whatever, zero fossil fuel. The drive to have zero plastic. So all these things as an industry, we are driving for ourselves because we have a bigger goal to get. We want to attract investors and clients who will see us as a differentiator versus the Indian. You know that Sri Lanka has the second largest IT pool of engineers, second to India. It's not Pakistan, it's not Bangladesh, it's not the Maldives, it's not Bhutan, it's Sri Lanka. Right? So we have the potential to be that differentiator where we value add. Yes, so if you want numbers, go to India. If you want green, clean technology, come to Sri Lanka. And then you charge a premium over it, right? And those are the strategic things. We can't compete with India on numbers. So these are the opportunities I would say everyone on this call has to look at Sri Lanka as future-proofing the company, future-proofing your career in understanding these fundamentals. You build on the fundamentals of correctness of environment, social, and governance, then you build a technology on top of that. Right? But if you have built technology, then you're playing catch up. And we don't want to play catch up. Yes, now we have a few companies, but that's the idea, right? You build these technologies around to ensure we stay ahead of the curve. So, sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to add that in.
No, it's totally fine. Yeah, thanks for your input, sir. So as our three panelists mentioned, there are so many arenas that you got into to meet sustainable development goals. And it's not just government responsibility, it's a responsibility as a nation. So with that, we have come to the end of our discussion. And I hope everyone got something regarding technology and sustainable development from this insightful panel discussion. So before concluding the session, let's ask the participants whether they have any questions to ask from the panelists. So you can unmute yourselves and ask the question. So you can put the questions in the chat box. So guys, it's your time. Are there any questions? Guys, you can put the questions in the chat box, or you can unmute yourselves and ask the questions. If there's any. Okay, there's a question popped up in the chat box. What are the potential technological platforms that are engaged mainly in global sustainable development? So if anyone to answer the question.
Yeah, I think there is a lot of technology on the green IoT, on environmental side of things. People are looking at, even 3D printing kind of technologies. The folks are sort of moving. It's not just, simple things. What I can say is the ecosystem that they're looking is a collection of tools and experiences. So I would say cloud is a great sustainable involvement. Today, we are actually measuring the environmental benefits of moving to the cloud. The cloud transformation technologies are there. AWS, Azure, Google Cloud. It'll tell you your environmental footprint. So how do you build aggregators on top of that to choose the right server? So you can run a server in Australia during daylight, and the balance of the processing, you can do it in the USA when there is daylight. So you're completely running on solar energy there without using battery banks and backups. So I'm just giving some small areas. But I would say cloud and digital transformation technologies are a whole area of doing it, and also the optimization, right first time, reducing defect density, the whole robotics process automation. So you can say, there were 3 people who had to come here, we are now doing it differently. And also, what is our environmental, social, and governance footprint in building that product? Are we using, so for example, Virtusa has a procurement policy, we are buying all our laptops that have over 50% recycled plastic, right? So that's a global decision. We will make sure we are issuing laptops for as many people as we can, so that we move out of the legacy desktop machines. Yes, there are instances we do it. So there are multiple areas that we are really looking at, and I think the cloud and the machine learning, AI, are the main areas that will be the sustainable area of doing things. And also the wearable devices, healthcare is another area of technology, especially to prevent people from falling sick, and the insurance companies are concerned about that aspects as well. So a healthier population means you get over the things of having more sickly people, right? So these are some of the other technologies that where AI, machine learning, augmented reality, all those things come into play.
So, Mr. Harshal, is there anything to add?
Yes, let me give you a message, the young generation. I just wanted to add to this my last question. So I invite you to travel less. I mean, not to see the world, but unnecessary travel. If you cut down, that is going to be the major contributor to our economic recovery and also the global level issues. So even if our country is very tiny and travel distances are very short, but our fuel expenditure per day in this country is about $10 million, and out of which about $6 million goes into travel. Yeah, we waste this much money on travel because our public transport system is not giving the desired level of expectation, is not met. Our society is developed, they have higher level of living standards, but people are taken away from public transport because of the poor quality. So push for quality public transport, and we can bring down the $6 million expenditure to 2 million. So as youngsters, get together, fight with the government, fight with us, trying to get the public transport right in this country. It alone can get us out of this mess. So that is where the number one my message. Then more service oriented economic output than manufacturing. Even though I'm a mechanical engineer, I'd love to see things turn up in our own country. But service requires less energy, less resources. So people like Mr. Denwadi Silva, they create economic value virtually out of nothing. So they have people, they are putting together brains, and they don't consume resources. That is the kind of economy we are dreaming of, because it is the environmental footprint is very, very low. And the final message is very personal. If you can go vegetarian, that will save the planet.
That was an amazing message. Yeah. So thank you for your input. Then are there any questions, guys? So you can put in the chat box, so you can unmute yourselves. I hope everyone is clear. So let's in the Q&A session. So thank you so much, Mr. Denwadi Silva, Mr. Harsha Wickramasinghe, and Dr. Asika Pereira for joining us with the panel discussion. And Anjali, over to you.
Thank you, Pavani. I'd like to thank our panelists, Mr. Denwadi Silva, Mr. Harsha Wickramasinghe, and Dr. Asika Pereira for all the insightful points they shared, as well as our moderator, Pavani Ratnayaka, for doing a wonderful job of keeping the discussion flowing smoothly. We very much appreciate that you accepted our invitations to join us today. And I'm quite sure that everyone in the audience has taken away some key points that they can apply to their own lives from this discussion. In order to put down our gratitude in a more lasting medium, please accept these digital tokens of appreciation we've prepared for you. So first up, Dr. Rasika Pereira. Thank you very much, sir. Next, the Harsha Singha. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Lastly, but not least, Mr. Denver De Silva. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today.
Thank you very much. And I am elated and delighted to see a digital token than a physical token. It's completely in alignment to our environmental footprint reduction and responsibility. So I would congratulate, and you should congratulate yourselves, and a round of applause to each and everyone for conceiving this. And I hope that I will see more digital accolades than the physical ones that are turning up and collecting. We appreciate all of them, but this is certainly the right way to do it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for that message too. Okay, so today's session is nearly at an end, but before we wrap things up, I'd like to invite all our participants here today to join us for a picture. So if circumstances permit, please use the image that will be shared in the chat soon and use it as your virtual background. So let's give us a minute to put it up in the chat.
You got all of them on, or?